How does Insidious The Red Door grade as a movie? Will it pass these 6 categories? Is it scary? Is it rewatchable? What's the boredom factor? And character development. 3 movie critics are going to weigh in and average to find a final score out of 10. 20 points available, divided by 2 at the end. Here we go. Was it scary?
Was the movie scary? I'm going to go no. There were some creepy parts in it, but there were a lot of jump scares that were just way too predictable. Not scary.
I did not find the movie scary at all. There was a couple moments that I would say were a little creepy, but it really didn't. I didn't feel anxiety or anything like that, wondering what was going to happen. It was a little bit predictable, so I'm going to give it a 0 on the scare factor.
I actually have to get an MRI soon, and I thought the MRI scare scene was pretty creative and original. So, although it didn't have ongoing scariness, it had 1 or 2 standout scenes. So I'm going to give it a pass because I'm not really looking forward to my MRI next week. The next category, the characters. Were they compelling? Were they relatable? Were they interesting? 1 point is available from each of us for this category. What do you think?
So I actually did like the characters in this one. I thought there was some decent character development. You know, the relationship between the father and the son, and, you know, being estranged a little bit and then coming together and building that bond again, and seeing how they're dealing with this loss of memory and getting this stuff back. I did enjoy that part of it. So I will go ahead and give it a point for that category.
Character development is important for me, and there was some character development when it came to the family. The problem I run into, I don't know anything about the demons, and that's what I want to know about. I knew about the family. I knew they were having issues, and from the trailer, you know that they're still dealing with it today. You're expecting that character development. I need to know the rest of the players. Didn't get to know that, so I'm going to have to give that a 0. No points for me.
It is true that they do not give any background on the ghosts. I don't even know what that thing in the MRI machine was, or the demons in this movie. But the human drama is so strong that I was compelled to see their journey. Why is this family separated at the beginning of the movie? What is the effect of having their memory erased? And are they going to be able to get back together or not? So I enjoyed their journey. I'll go ahead and give it a point here. Category 3, atmosphere. Did the movie create a good, scary, creepy atmosphere that was enjoyable and interesting to be in? What do you think?
Yeah. The movie's going to get a point for me on this. It was creepy. Whenever they went into the further, they did a good job. You could tell they were in the further without them changing so much. It was just basically a light, but they did that well. Like I said, I wasn't scared from the movie, but I did, you could feel the creepiness and things like that. So, I like the atmosphere. I'm going to give it a point.
The atmosphere for this movie, I thought they did a pretty good job with the lighting of the scenes when they were supposed to be in the further, really kind of set up that foreboding mood that something's going to happen. A little creepy in that area, and I think they did a really good job with that. However, unfortunately, I don't think there was really much of a payoff. But I'll go ahead and give the point for the atmosphere of the movie. They really set that up well.
And I am also going to give it a point. I thought the atmosphere was cool and enjoyable, even when we weren't in the further. I also have this pet peeve about CGI in scary movies that can really take away from the scares. And I actually thought everything looked pretty good and pretty scary in this movie. So no problem with the CGI here. I'm going to give it a point. Question 4, the plot. How do you rate the plot? Was it comprehensible? Was it incomprehensible? And go.
All right. Well, plot-wise, I thought was a little bit of a mess. Only because it was really hard to tell at certain points what was actually going on when they would show a demon and you don't know who this demon is. And some of what we talked about with the rules and why can these demons touch people and how come these can't, and are they ghosts or what? If they could have cleaned that up a little bit, this would have gotten a point for me for the plot line, but on the fact that I saw it yesterday and I'm still trying to figure it out, I got to go 0 on the plot.
What Drew said.
Man, this is tough. I really like the story they were telling. The problem is, I think I know what they were going for, but they didn't show it all on screen. At the end of the movie, when Dalton gets possessed, I'm pretty sure Parker possessed Dalton, the same demon who possessed Josh back in movie number 2. But they didn't show it on screen, so I gotta ding it here. It's gonna get a 0. Category 5, boredom. Did you get bored while you were watching this movie?
I was not bored. I like the movie. Like I said, I'm not saying you should go out and watch it. I was intrigued. There was a lot going on. Of course, working with Nathan all these years, I was going through the limited theology knowledge I had. And that's tough to say. Yeah, it's not a boring movie, so I'll give it a point. That's another point for me. Definitely.
Was I bored? This one is a little tricky. Watching it and trying to figure out what was going on, there were some aspects of it that I liked. There was some of it I didn't like. But I'm going on the fact that when I got up to go get popcorn on my way back to the theater, I poked my head inside and I watched a few minutes of Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. I'm going to have to say, yeah, I think I was kind of bored at the beginning. So, 0 on that one.
I was not bored at all. I was hooked from the first 2 minutes of the film, so I'm going to give it a point. The final category has a 2-point bonus. If we all say this movie is worth watching more than once, there are 2 extra points available. So, rewatch factor, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 0, no. Unless there is a director's cut that makes the movie longer and explains more things. Then it could have the rewatchability we're looking for. However, we have to go on what we saw yesterday at the theaters, and I would say I would not want to watch that movie again, personally. At least not on purpose. So yeah, I have to give that 0.
Okay. Again, this one is kind of a tough one to answer. Based on what I saw yesterday, not probably one that I'm going to go say, oh, I'm going to watch The Red Door again. However, I think if I went and I watched the other 2, then I'd want to watch the third one again just to see how that ties in. So going with that, I will say, yeah, I will rewatch it after I watch 1 and 2. So I'll give it a point from default. You get a point for that.
I think there was enough interesting psychology here and enough interesting threads and callbacks to the other films to watch it again. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'd watch it again. And if I watched the first one, I don't think I could watch the first one again without then wanting to watch this one after. So it's going to get a point from me. Okay, tally up the final score. This movie got a 10 out of 20, so divided by 2 and we have 5 out of 10. It's mediocre. I actually felt better about the film than a 5 out of 10, but that's what it's going to get when it grades out. So go see it. If you like this video, hit subscribe, and we will see you next time.